Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Please like and subscribe. Become a member to the channel. It's probably more important. Become a member to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Yo, Anthony Joshua. Word on the street is he feels that he's done more than enough in boxing to where he's entitled to pick and choose any opponent he wants. Like Canelo does, like Mayweather did, how De La Hoya was. He feels that his legacy is cemented and he's done more, he's done enough, if not more, than what Canelo's done. Because he's taken the heavyweight division and the whole sport of boxing and put it on his back and carried it for years. Now, I have an opinion on that, but it doesn't matter. You guys leave in the comments whether you agree with that or not. Now, what I'm going to tell you is the question for me is Anthony Joshua entitled? Now, some people are going to say yes to a degree. He's entitled. And, to a certain degree, he should be able to kind of, pick some of the fights he wants and have some fun. Like Jake Paul, which is, I just think a waste of time. But Joshua is a two-time unified heavyweight champion. That's a pretty big deal. You know what I'm saying? 28 wins, 4 losses, 25 KOs. So, those 4 losses, 2 to Usyk, 1 to Andy Ruiz. Shit, who did he lose to? Oh, and then Daniel Dubois. The 2 to Usyk, I think we can just sit that aside. Everyone loses to Usyk. But he did make it competitive. He just was fighting scared because Andy Ruiz had already put the bing-bings on him and exposed him for not having the best chin. That's a fight that I picked Ruiz to beat him, but the majority picked AJ to beat him. But you saw what happened. You hit Ruiz, all he's going to do is get up and fire back. So AJ lost that fight. Then Daniel Dubois, at the point in time Daniel Dubois fought him, looked like AJ was going to get back on his feet and, coming off of some big wins. Well, I'm not going to say some big wins, but some nice knockouts. But anyway, got into with Dubois, things didn't work out. So how much value do we place into, hold on a second here. Hold on a second. Because this damn thing just, all right, the microphone's still working? Okay. I like the microphone, everything glitched for a second. But how much value do we play into a Vladimir Klitschko win? And just how much value or devalue should we put into those losses when it comes to him and his platform and profile to Ruiz and Usyk and then Dubois? Now, what I'll tell you is, does he have leverage? Some say yes, and I say because you got to look at his legacy and titles. He unified belts twice between 2016 and 2021. Some guys never even become a champion. But true indeed, he had the machine behind him. Fast Eddie Hearn made sure Anthony Joshua was put in position to where he can go out there and do the business. But he had to do the fight. So he has leverage when you look at what he's accomplished to come out here now towards the end of his career and maybe pick a Jake Paul fight or some other tomato can or even go fight on Misfits. I think it hurts his legacy, but he can do it. You can't say he's never done anything in boxing. It's like, what's his name? The boy, man, Ryan Garcia. He's never became a legitimate champion in any weight division. But Ryan Garcia is basically a Jake Paul who can really fight. So if Ryan Garcia goes and does that misfit stuff or fights some social media influencer or whatever, it doesn't have that much of an impact. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to lose value the way Anthony Joshua will. Because I think most of us see Ryan Garcia as another kind of cartoon character. Nobody sees AJ that way. But again, him going out here and picking the fights he wants, he's marketable. One thing about him, just like we're talking about Jake Paul and some of these other guys, when you're as marketable as AJ, you can do what you want. Global fan base, commercial appeal, no matter who he fights, the fight's going to sell. him fighting a guy like Jake Paul, that just amplifies things. But anyone AJ fights, especially out in the UK, the fight's going to sell. So I think there's a lot to be learned when you really look at this holistically when it comes to fighters and saying, you know what? I already did the business. I'm not going to come out here to necessarily satisfy the diehard boxing fans anymore. I gave them that. 2-time unified. Now I'm going to go out here and maybe have some fun, but make even more money in a fight with less risk. But you can't knock his resume, because one thing for sure, Anthony Joshua he never ducked any fight, and he fought a lot of great fighters, a lot of great champions. Fought top-tier talent, consistently. He's not many fighters do that, and he's done that. And the reality is, he has drawing power. Anthony Joshua to this day, man, you announce his fight, tickets sell. Pay-per-view sell. People want to see Anthony Joshua. So, does he have a right to feel entitled? Yeah, to a certain point. But did he do enough as a heavyweight champion? I guess that's another conversation, you know what I'm saying? I think he did a lot, but he didn't do everything. If he's going to say that he's done as much, or maybe more than a Canelo, than a Mayweather, I got to say, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. First of all, Mayweather whipped everyone's ass. Any and everyone Mayweather fought, he made them look average. I know they made Don a little ups and downs. He got touched by Chop Chop Corley. He got touched by Chop Chop Corley hit him, and Mosley hit him. Maidana got him. Some people talk about the Luis Castillo, but the bottom line is, no one's really launched a sustained, damaging attack on Floyd Mayweather. For the most part, Floyd barely got hit in fights. Anthony Joshua, not so much. He's never unified all 4 belts. Well, Floyd didn't, but Floyd was a 5-division champion. Joshua was a heavyweight, so not much he could have done unless try to go down, but he's a big boy, so he can't do that. But you just see when he had the opportunity to come back now and face Usyk in a rematch, he lost that. Getting there, an opportunity to become a champion again and fight Dubois, he lost that fight. And then what happened with Andrew Ruiz, he was able to get him in the rematch, but he fought scared. But he got the win. So how do you give the crown to Anthony Joshua as this era's king of the heavyweight division? I just don't think you can do that. You know what I'm saying? Because a guy like Canelo, a guy like Mayweather, it's one thing about both of them: durability. Anthony Joshua does not have durability. Okay? So we can talk about him and his highlights, and an Olympic gold medalist and a 2-time unified heavyweight champion. He put the bing-bings on Klitschko, a fight that Klitschko let him off the hook, because AJ, it was over. He should have been knocked out cold. And he fought almost every contender in the era, but the critics, they're going to keep arguing when it comes to Anthony Joshua, man, that he needs a win over Tyson Fury, or to clip Usyk in a trilogy, to truly cement his place amongst the all-time greats, and to really kind of, disguise, label himself as the I'm entitled and I've earned this entitlement. In order to do that, he's got to do a little bit more, man. You know what I'm saying? Because Tyson Fury, he almost got Usyk up out of there. He hurt Usyk badly. Second fight was competitive. But he did much better against Usyk than AJ did. You saw what happened with the water fights. I still got an opinion about Fury in the water fights, you know what I mean? I'm the lineal champion lineal. I beat him fair and square. Wilder doesn't want to give me the credit. That's because Tyson Fury, I think he cheated and shit, but hey, that's a whole other conversation. So does Anthony Joshua, based on everything that we talked about, right? Does he deserve criticism for these rumored negotiations? Sound like he's going to fight Jake Paul or somebody, Sam Nook, somebody else, some French guy. I forgot the name. But I just think there's going to be a lot of backlash, because it's going to make people feel he's scared to rematch Dubois. Dubois knocked him out cold. AJ was, chest to canvas, ass in the air, looking crazy in the ring. They want to come back and rematch him. You know why? Because he got a team around him who's like, leave Dubois alone. Everyone knows Dubois is a little Sesame Street. He's a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I think Anthony Joshua is scared of him because he felt that power and he doesn't want to get embarrassed again. So they're going to take him a Jake Paul route. But in my opinion, the backlash is more than understandable. But some may say it's not really fair. But I just, for me, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this shit is serious with him and Jake Paul, people. Jake Paul is not going to necessarily get a title if he beats AJ, but could you imagine if he beats AJ? Shit, boxing world will come to an end. Now, there's this shit's becoming like a circus, man. As much as people want to say Jake Paul brings nothing to the sport of boxing, that man brings money. Turkey Al-Sheikh shook Jake Paul's hand. Did y'all see that? Before, Turkey Al-Sheikh was dissing Jake Paul. Didn't seem to be really supportive or interested in doing anything involving Jake Paul. But now Jizzle P is in the house. Now, when Turkey's in the house, every day is Thanksgiving. But when Jizzle P's in the house, shit, every day is Thanksgiving too. At least you're getting paid, you know what I'm saying? But this is what it could be. Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul. You know what the motivation is there. $100 million payday for Anthony Joshua. That's crazy. For Eddie Hearn now, massive audience crossover. Everyone already knows what AJ is, but if he comes now and which I think he will destroy Jake Paul, now he goes over into this other weird, quirky world where Eddie Hearn and AJ may plan on establishing roots after boxing and go over to that weird misfits world or create another world, something similar to that, where AJ can do like Mayweather, kind of exhibitions, but now he has a totally different audience that's going to receive him and not sit here and, like the boxing world, going to say, this guy here just jeopardize his legacy to go fight this cartoon character, Jizzle P. But the bottom line is, I personally think if he fights someone before Jake Paul, I think that's going to be a joke. But if he goes straight into a fight with Jake Paul, maybe that could be a warm-up fight for him before he goes and fights Tyson Fury. Like, I don't know what the plan is, but I do think when Jake Paul gets in there, I think Jake Paul's going to try to win. I think he is going to try to win. I think Jake Paul believes in his power. And look, whether you like Jake Paul or not, he got some power in that right hand. Jizzle P is bringing some heat. And if he happens to, launch and land that goddamn missile on Anthony Joshua's chin, Anthony Joshua is out of there. And he just can't afford that, So fans are going to be mad because when you look at other elite pros who they may feel deserves a chance against Anthony Joshua, especially like in Atama, if he clips Dillian White, why not give Atama an opportunity? But they look at Jake Paul and say his resume is weak. When you look at real pros, what are we doing here, Anthony Joshua? They just feel like it's a cash grab, which, hey, I can't blame him for that. $100 million? Better go get that money. But I do think him fighting Jake Paul, win or lose, I think it will tarnish his legacy. I really do. I think it will. This isn't, especially when he seems to have so much left in the tank. It just doesn't make sense to me to come out here and fumble around with this guy. But again, when you get an opportunity to make the kind of money like what Anthony Joshua is going to have to fight Jake Paul, he's used to making $40, $50 million paydays. But if you come and fight Jake Paul, you get a quick $100 million for a tenth of a fight. Well, then you can't blame him. So when it comes to me, you say, all right, well, what do you think about it? I think he should get the money, but I think it does hurt his legacy. I don't know if he's done enough in the sport to even put himself on the level of Canelo. I don't think he's been the face of boxing. I don't think he's carried the sport. Carried the heavyweight division, maybe. But the sport, no. earned the right to pick and choose who he wants to fight. I mean, I kind of agree, but not wholeheartedly. But it's partial agreement there. But I do think he earned his place at the table to definitely have an opinion on who he fights. But his legacy, in my opinion, is a bit fragile. But he was doing the business, against the Molinas, against the Brazils, Dillian White, so on and so on. He ducked Deontay Wilder. He and Eddie Hearn in the zone, they just totally mishandled that shit. And that's something else people don't talk about enough. I need to do a whole nother video. I think I'm going to stop talking about that shit. Save it for another video. I'm going to do it after I play this Zelda game with my son. I'm going to do one because that's ridiculous, man. That, goddamn it, Wilder and AJ had all the belts. And they didn't fight. Now that shit pisses me off because they were both in their prime, both could have knocked each other out, and the politics of boxing and Eddie Hearn, right there in the middle of that shit, precluded the fight from happening, him in the zone, because they didn't treat Deontay Wilder with the proper respect. Anyway, I just think for AJ to be remembered as one of the greats, I think he should fight Fury. Win or lose, fight Fury. And then try to get that third bout with Usyk. Win or lose, try. Fight Dubois in a rematch. Win or lose, do it. People are going to put respect on his name. Even if he loses, they'll put respect on his name. But as far as Jizzle P and Anthony Joshua, I don't know. Word is he's supposed to be trying to fight somebody named Tony Yoka in December, some French guy. Then after Yoka, it could be Jake Paul. After Jake Paul, it could be Tyson Fury. I don't know what was going to happen, but it just makes me wonder, what happened to the three-time heavyweight champion? Like, what happened to all those plans and goals and becoming undisputed? Like, he and Deontay Wilder talking the same kind of shit, but neither one of them are moving any closer to the goal that they've established. If anything, they're moving the goalpost further away. So I'm not really sure what's going on. But if AJ wants to go from being, I would say, some people say he's elite to legendary, I think he really should win a third world title. I think he should be the top pound-for-pound opponent. I think he should avoid gimmick fights, which seems to be what he's after right now. And I think he needs to stay active and dominant and unify the division. You know what I'm saying? Even if he fails, just try. But anyway, remarkable career. Just don't know if he has earned the right to be entitled, pick and choose the fight he wants, like he's beat everyone who was in his way. There's no competition. No one can beat this Anthony Joshua. So I'm just going to go out here and have fun. I don't know if he's in that position. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.